I'm live? Yeah. Yay! So, hello everyone. I guess there looks like there's a lot of talk in the comments there. Um, I mean, I'll just say so I've got a busy weekend going to SpaceCon in San Antonio. If anyone's in the area, gonna have a vendor booth, and author D.L. Young is gonna be there as well. And there's a bunch of other people, a lot of Star Trek and Star Wars actors. Ewan McGregor and all those people are gonna be there. So, yeah, we were just on that panel. The AI panel was just before this one. So some of you probably were there for that, or most of you probably were. Hey. Yeah, so I've been printing out these little tiny booklets of aliens from my Torth universe as a free. I just learned how to make zines. So you just print it out on a sheet of paper and staple it together, and it's pretty easy. Yeah, it was nice meeting you at PCon too, JD. So yeah, it'll be cool. And unfortunately, it means I have to miss the rest of Guildificon because I'm going to be working my day job while I'm at a vendor booth. Luckily, my day job is pretty low pressure, so I can kind of sneak away for an hour to do it or something. But yeah, and then Saturday, Sunday, it'll just be me and my husband, who is my booth babe, and he's going to help me sell my books. So... Yeah, thanks. I really would like to, but I think I don't even know where I'm going to be living next year. So we keep having plans to move out of state. Right now I live in Texas. I've been in Texas for 15 years. And I grew up in New England, and I lived in LA for 12 years. So I've lived on all three coasts at this point. And my family wants me to move to Florida. My husband wants to move to Colorado. We both have family in New Mexico. And so we're considering just kind of getting out of Texas. We don't really know when or where, but next year sounds likely. Yeah, it is hot. For those who aren't in Texas, it's like 90 degrees every day, and it's October. It's late October. So I know eventually it's going to plummet down to 20 degrees, and that's probably going to happen in another month. But it seems like Texas does hot and cold, and it just doesn't really do anything in the between. So LA had great weather, but a lot of people. Yeah, Colorado. We are tempted to go to Colorado. If it's not Colorado, we're going to be in northern New Mexico. Yeah, so we both have kind of some family living in the Santa Fe area, and we spent a lot of time driving to Colorado through Santa Fe. So we kind of know the area, and I guess just overall, I think we want a little bit of a lower cost of living. Texas is expensive, and it's hot, and it's really just chock full of people. Yeah, exactly. Like Taos is beautiful. That whole area is gorgeous, and I think so. Like the dream is for me is like have an Earthship home built, buy some property, build an Earthship home, and that's kind of like a home where it's like cooling and heating is natural, so there's no like an interior AC or something. It's like half the home is built into a hill, so it has insulation, and then half of it is windows, so you have like a lot of natural light, and that just sounds wonderful. Yeah, and there's like a ton of Earthship home builders in New Mexico. So yeah, exactly. Colorado is not as cheap as New Mexico. So, but this, if we live there, it would be Colorado adjacent. I mean, literally an hour or two drive north, and then you're in Colorado. So, yeah, but kind of also considering like taking 3 or 4 months and just living in Aruba or something. I really like that idea. So I don't know if I can, but basically both my husband and I work remote, so we do not have to go to an office. So we really could live anywhere. Um, I know a lot of lit RPG writers have been moving to Portugal, and we kind of like that idea too, but um, we don't speak Portuguese. And I don't really like the idea of trying to get around in a country where I don't speak the language. So, uh, my Spanish is really rusty. um, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, we both took Spanish in high school, and it's all gone now. Um, I'm sure it would come back if I kind of lived immersively in a Spanish-speaking country. So, it's possible. It might be fun. Yeah. So, yeah, Red River is beautiful. All of that area. Um, yeah, and then the other thing is like I've got a niece and nephew living in the Miami area, and I thought it might be nice to get a little closer to them and being in touch with them. Um, it's actually not too expensive to rent a property on the beach in kind of northern Miami, which you would think would be ridiculously expensive, but apparently right now, due to the hurricane damage and a whole bunch of like other problems, like there was a building collapse, and that caused all of the basically all the high rises to have to retrograde, um, do a whole bunch of remodeling, and so for whatever reason, the rents have plummeted there. Yeah. Yeah, so we actually went on a crazy road trip around Florida a couple years ago. Oh, thanks. Yeah, okay, so these are just my characters from the Torth series. I drew them. And I come from an art background. And there we go. I don't know. It's probably a little bit blurry. Well, anyway, it's on my website. So abbygoldsmith.com. It's just at the bottom of the page. And, you know, my Torth series, these are just kind of the main character cast. I actually drew it a pretty long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of sad. Like my artwork, my art skills, my illustration skills have been really rusty because I've put so much effort into the writing skills instead of that lately. Um, Hello. I think I know you, Maria. So cool. Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, I've printed out some t-shirts from Redbubble with my characters on them. I have one that says, I'm an expert in metamaterials, astrophysics, nuclear science, all this other stuff. Just ask me anything, AMA, with my super genius character on it. And so, of course, like the last convention I went to, I wore that shirt. Thanks. Yeah. Um, yeah, these zines. I mean, I just started making these. Like, you can just go on YouTube and figure out how to make it from like a printed out page. Basically, get a template, print it out. Um, but yeah, so these are just kind of like a bunch of aliens from the Torth universe. So I was like, here's what planet they come from. And I thought it would just be a good free giveaway because it's literally free to print it out with my black and white printer. So there we go. And then these are just some non-sapient aliens with my QR code. So I thought that'll just be a fun thing to have on the table as where I'm a vendor. Yeah. Yeah, and I can also say, like, right now, my husband's at a meetup for game developers because he's an indie game developer working on an MMO. And we both kind of support each other, and I do a lot of the art for his game. And he helps me with lifting heavy boxes full of books and sitting at a vendor table and selling books. He's more charismatic than I am. So that's kind of, we're two artists. That's how we have things arranged. So I will just kind of ramble since I don't really know. Yeah, so right now I'm kind of writing a new series, which is called Self-Made Wizard. And I keep making things very hard for myself because I never write in a genre that's easy to sell. I should just write lit RPG. And by the way, I'm reading Defiance of the Fall on book 5, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. So I tend to bounce off the more popular lit RPGs. Like, I tend to just kind of drop off around book 3 for like a lot of the big ones. Um, you know, Abby Goldsmith is not it's my real name, which is pretty stupid. I have considered like taking a pen name, but I want credit for my work, so that's what I've done. And I kind of figure like in the future, if I just bomb or something, like I can just relaunch everything under a male name and see how it does. But I kind of joke that like, yeah, you're right, JD. You're absolutely right. If you want to make money, write to market, rapid release, 100%. I've kind of just given up on that because I got into writing because I just do it for the love. Of course I would love to be famous. I would love to have my books be a huge success, but I don't want to make certain compromises in quality or in what I love doing, so I know people say like, yeah, you can write to market and still enjoy it. I don't think I could. Like to me, the fun is being creative. The fun is creating a giant, epic, crazy story that's all my own. I worked in video games for 12 years and I got tired of being told what to do. I didn't want to keep building other people's dreams. So that is literally why I'm writing. So, yeah, I was working on a lot of SpongeBob games, a lot of kind of edutainment, shovelware as they call it. And it was Disney games, Nickelodeon games. Some of them were fun to work on, but basically it was a lot of committee pleasing. So there's like a committee at Nickelodeon, a committee at Disney. And we'd have a team. We were a third-party developer. And so, we would be dealing with these people and they'd say, well, we want these kind of aliens or these kind of monsters in the SpongeBob game. And, I would do it, but inside I'd be like, okay, I don't mind that kind of thing, but it really was a day job and it was draining. It was creatively draining. So I wanted to work on my own stuff. I was writing Torth back then, but only the first book, and I kept thinking I would get traditionally published, which was kind of crazy. I would say that traditional publishing, I don't think they're looking for kind of big, epic, heroic fantasy or epic sci-fi or lit RPG or progression fantasy. You all know that. And the kind of stuff I like to read is in those genres. I've kind of joked that I'm a male author and I'm a male reader. And I mean, that's definitely stereotyping, but yep. My tastes tend to skew male. I don't like to read romantasy or romance at all. I like big, epic, like power progression. So that is what I do. My new series is, I tend to I like to do kind of something of like social commentary where, good things about mail. What's that? Oh. You mean like male authors or male genres? Well, anyway, so with my new series, it's like kind of some social commentary about corporate shitification, what kind of BS jobs that people have in the context of a magic universe. So my main character is inventing his own magic system. Oh, yeah, like a newsletter. I mean, I'm a web serial author, so I really do enjoy that, and I plan to launch my next one. On paper, that's too old-fashioned for me. I mean, sure, I've got these zines, but my books are a 1,000,000-word series. I can't do that. Yeah, I mean, so I might be dragged into the VR world at some point, and we'll see what happens there if I can get some kind of writer lit RPG convention going in VR. Um, yeah. So even though I was just on an AI panel and I'm pretty hardcore against I do like technology and I'm future looking for most of it. I just have a problem with plagiarism machines. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I'm a web serial author. Right now I've been writing a chapter per week on the new one. That is really slow in the lit RPG world, and I'd like to kind of speed up to 2 chapters a week, and I think I can manage that once I'm done going to conventions for the season, which is going to be starting next month. But yeah, I can. Yeah, you know what is really sucks is like I got into an argument with some AI guy on Facebook a few months ago, and the guy wrote a 2-star review on my book, not having read it, of course, saying, "Oh, was this book written by AI?" So yeah, there's some real AI assholes out there. I've kind of learned my lesson to not argue with them too much, and I believe what I believe, and I believe that the quality of my stuff, it's quality. It's the quality I write, and it's clearly not written by AI, and anyone who's actually read it knows that. So, uh, and as I said in the AI panel, I'm not going to compete with rapid release authors. I can write 2 chapters a week probably at top speed, and that's like if I didn't have a day job. So that's not going to be competing with AI people. That's not going to be competing with the super top echelon of rapid release people either. And yeah, that's not the way to fame and fortune. That's not the way to money as an indie author. Everyone knows that. But I write what I write. So yeah, so going back to Self-Made Wizard. Um yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny, like I keep being put on AI panels. Like I've been to like 4 or 5 different conventions in the last 2 months where I was put on an AI panel. And it's not like I'm some kind of expert on AI. Yeah. Yeah, my speed is yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny, like talking about my past life here. I've dated some AI programmers, and so I've seen like a little bit behind the scenes, and not impressed. So I mean, the technology is impressive. Like let's put it that way. Like I do stand behind like rapid iteration for curing cancer, for doing things like that. What we're calling AI, which it isn't really AI, can be helpful, but for science and technology. But for the creative arts, I don't believe it belongs there. So yeah, as far as like using it for uh, that is a good one. I suppose I did. Yeah, exactly. It should. So yeah. So I kind of have a little bit of not a little bit, a lot of a dystopian dark outlook on things, and I tend to kind of take things to the natural extreme conclusion. Torth series is a hive mind on steroids. So it's Twitter and Reddit combined and just amped up to 11. So it's very, very dark. And I've actually written a standalone kind of making fun of AI and ChatGPT. It's about 60,000 words, and I haven't rewritten it yet, and I feel like it's too dark to sell well. It's just super dark. So my style tends to be very dark, and so I'm trying to lighten it up. The new one I'm working on is definitely lighter than most of what I've written. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm happy that I'm like having a little bit more of a happier outlook on things, and I can make, not go to the super dark place every single time. With Torth, I would say like I might have gone a little too dark, especially on the first two books. The last of the series, very proud of it. Ends on a happy note. So that's hard to believe. Dark stuff on TikTok, huh? Well, I haven't even gotten myself on TikTok yet, so maybe I should. I guess like I kind of assumed TikTok was all romance and young adult. So that is interesting. Yeah. Well, the other thing is like I don't write standalones very much. I mean, okay, so that one ChatGPT riff is a standalone, but yeah, that's very strange. Like maybe people are maybe the pendulum is swinging back around, because like I feel like I kind of grew up in like the 90s and the early 2000s where it was all like Stephen King, Anne Rice, George R. R. Martin, Joe Abercrombie. It was very dark. And then we have kind of like happy, upbeat, He Who Fights with Monsters and so forth, like the lit RPG, cozy fantasy and so forth. Like it's all kind of swung to happy. And that was one thing I noticed when I was serializing Torth on Royal Road. So I was like, all right, here we go. And some of the first comments I got were like readers going, author hates her main character. Author is really mean, really, really mean to the main character. And I was like, well, yeah, he's suffering. Thank you. Yeah, I guess fair warning. My main character suffers a lot in the first two books. Things get better for him. It's definitely power progression. But I don't like easy wins for my characters. I like things to be a little difficult for them. So this character has a lot of advantages. I mean, come on, he's a mutant super genius telepath. So he has the power to brainwash and zombify people. He can make his own army. So, I kind of had to put the brakes on him a little bit. I don't regret it. Yeah. So, yeah, a little. I mean, I think like honestly, his low point came in book 2, and this is a spoiler, but he got thrown in a desensitization dungeon pit. Thank you, Maria. No problem. Yeah. So yeah, desensitization dungeon pit where he was. That's kind of the worst thing you can do to a super genius with telepathy. It's just So he kind of was suffering for a large portion of that book. And I got some readers going, wow, this is just, author just hates her character. So I put like no easy wins, and that helped a lot. And I feel like people who got through the dungeon pit really enjoyed what happened next. So anyway, but the new one I have learned. The new one, no slavery arc, my main character does not get enslaved, does not get tortured, doesn't get chained up, doesn't become a prisoner, doesn't get beaten up really. He kind of like has some mishaps with magic a few times, but that's about it. So life is much nicer to him, and he's a nobleman. So I feel like that's going to go over a little bit better. And I've had a few beta readers on it already that have really been enjoying it. So my whole MO is like, I'm not going to start posting it on Royal Road until I've got like probably 80 or 100 chapters, because I'm not fast enough to go faster than that. So once I have like 80 or 100, I will rapid burst release it on Royal Road. I'll keep having advanced chapters on Patreon, and that's on my website with a Patreon paywall. So I just really enjoy writing. Yeah. Now, it's really cool to see y'all, and I kind of wish I could go to JordanCon again. I will have to figure out what else I can do. But I have to say, like, this whole season, I've just been staying in Texas. Texas is a big state, y'all. It's like, I don't know, 8 hours to get out of here. So, yeah, I went to DFW Con, Armadillo Con, PCon. I went to the Indie Author Book Fair in Houston, and then I was double booked. And it looks like I've got to get going pretty soon here. Make it to Lit RPG Con. I would like to. I feel like I can't commit, and so I'm not going to commit to that. So if I do show up, it'll be just probably on the side, bar-conning it or something. But yeah, like I just want to figure out like where we're living next year, basically. I kind of like this apartment, but it's time to get out of Texas. So yeah. Yeah. Where are you from, Robert? Well, anyway, y'all can find me. I have my own Discord. I have a Discord for Epic Series writers, and I have one for my own Torth series. So, yep. Those are, I probably should put that somewhere, but yeah, I mean, you can probably get to everything from my website. So I have a little bio page, and there's a Discord link there. So, yep. Keep chewing. Yep. Well, thanks for coming to my little author takeover, and there you go. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to say good night and have a good one, y'all.